Here we presents the top 5 best point and shoot cameras. Starting at number 5, Ricoh GR III. GR fans, or Grists as Ricoh called them, will love this update of an iconic camera. But in the world of multi-lens camera phones, the wider appeal of this fixed-lens compact will probably be limited. This is a beautiful sized APS-C compact, ideal for carrying around in the pocket and for discreet street photography. But this is sold at a luxury price that is no longer justified by the build quality or the feature set. This is luxury camera and sells itself on its small size and image quality. The GR series has a cult following, loved by travel photographers and street specialists that want a camera that slips easily into your pocket. Nowadays, of course, everyone already has a wide-angled camera with them at all times in the shape of the camera phone. So it is no surprise that the Ricoh GR III has needed to add more technical tricks to its armory in order to ensure it is still relevant in the smartphone era. This latest digital version packs in a decent-sized APS-C sensor with a 24-megapixel count. There is no anti-alias filter on the camera, but the incorporation of a dust removal system on the system means that sensor vibration can be used as an electronic anti-aliasing filter should you need to engage this to avoid problems with more. For more information and price, check out the product links in description. At number 4. Leica Q2. Leica cameras are the kind of ultra-high-end gear even professional photographers covet. They're the Bugatti of the camera world, and the reputation is well-earned. Leica is synonymous with heirloom-quality craftsmanship, near-peerless optics, and exorbitant prices. While these cameras and lenses cost more than an engagement ring, they're meant to last. They are also something of an acquired taste. Most Leica cameras have unique quirks that set them apart from the competition, for better and for worse. How's that for a cold splash of reality? The price isn't the only thing about this camera that might take it out of consideration for most photographers. The Q2 is not as full of features as other mirrorless cameras on the market, Leica's own included, because you can't change lenses. You're stuck with the included 28mm f1.7 lens. It's unfortunate, and it's certainly an unusual choice for a $5,000 camera, but it is a Leica lens, and therefore produces incredible images. There's some indescribable quality to photos taken on such a camera. Photos are tack sharp even with the aperture wide open. Backgrounds melt into luscious, buttery smooth bokeh. Every scene seems frozen in glass, crystal clear, and rendered with brilliant color fidelity. There's a character to Leica photos, and that character comes through in each and every shot you take on the Q2. It's almost impossible to take a bad photo. Seriously, even just everyday photos of houseplants and pets seem rich and vivid, like a timeless moment carefully compassed and captured in loving detail. Halfway of my list at number 3, Canon PowerShot G7X III. The G7X Mark II's 20MP 1-type sensor uses a stacked CMOS design which, up until now, has only been found on Sony cameras. This sensor design is all about speed. Since the sensor reads out so quickly, the camera can shoot faster bursts at up to 30 FPS with continuous autofocus. As with several recent Canon cameras, both compact and ilk, the G7X Mark III can shoot raw bursts at 30 frames per second. And it can do so for quite a while, with the camera displaying a bar on the left side of the display representing the buffer capacity. The G7X III can pre-buffer, while the shutter is halfway pressed, and will save the 15 photos captured prior to the button being fully pressed. Images taken in raw burst mode have different file names than images taken in the regular modes, and are grouped together in their own virtual folder on the camera. You can extract individual images from the group and export them as JPEGs, with the ability to make adjustments prior to saving. Since the camera uses the electronic shutter to pull off the 30 FPS burst mode, banding may be an issue under artificial light. Rolling shutter distortion may also be more noticeable. The biggest party trick on the G7X Mark III is its ability to stream live video over YouTube. At the time of writing it's a pain to get working, but if you can get past the random, unexplained error messages and frequent low bandwidth issues, it does work as advertised. Coming in at number 2. Canon PowerShot G5X II. The Canon PowerShot G5X Mark II follows the same idea as its predecessor, 2016's G5X, but the execution is a bit better all around. It's a little more pocketable, thanks in part to its retractable EVF, it's more responsive, and it has a little bit more zoom power. It doesn't have quite as many of the bells and whistles as you get with Sony's most similar camera, the RX100 but Canon does a better job with the fundamentals, enough to earn our editor's choice. Canon went back to the drawing board with the G5X Mark II. While the first version looked more like a sized-down mirrorless camera with a center-raised EVF and visible front control wheel, the Mark II has point-and-shoot DNA. It uses a candy bar form factor, and while its lens does just out a bit from the body, I find it to be very pocketable. It measures 2.4x4, 4x1, 8 inches and weighs 12.0 ounces when loaded with a battery and a memory card. It's finished in basic black, with a metal exterior that's cool to the touch, and a leatherette wrap. The lens is an 8 to 44mm f1. 8 design. It matches the angle of view of a 24 to 120mm zoom on a full-frame camera. It's not the longest zoom among pocketable models with the same 1-inch sensor type, but it's the longest we've seen that opens to f1. 8 at the wide end, bettering the 24 to 70mm f1. 8 Sony has used in several models, and the 24 to 100mm f1. 8 in the Canon G7X Mark III. For more information and price, check out the product links in description. And number 1. Sony PowerShot RX100 VI. The Sony RX100 series represents the top tier of the point-and-shoot market. The 7th generation model, the PowerShot DSE RX100 VI, sports the 8x lens introduced in its predecessor, along with an autofocus system that puts the camera on the same footing as the company's high-end interchangeable lens models. It's a premium camera, with a price match, but backs it up with top-notch speed and optics. That earns it our editor's choice. Smartphone cameras continue to get better, thanks to advancements in image processing computational photography, but there are some who simply prefer the feel of a dedicated camera in their hands, or want a bit more zoom power than you get from a multi-lens iPhone. The RX100 VI offers plenty of zoom power, with a lens that matches a full-frame 24 to 200mm in terms of coverage. It's longer than the 24 to 70mm design used in some others in the series, including the RX100 VI, but only captures about half the light. If you want a similar camera with a bit of zoom and a brighter lens, consider the Canon G5X Mark II, which has a 24 to 120mm f1. 8 zoom. You'll still want to take care when using it. The camera isn't rugged or waterproof. Sony's larger bridge-style RX10 series offers dust and splash protection, but true rugged options are few and far between if you want one with an image sensor that's bigger than your smartphone. Sea Life sells a 1-inch waterproof model, the DC2000, but it doesn't have a zoom lens, and its functions are downright primitive in comparison. I have included these product link in the description. You can check out this link for more information and latest price. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit the like button, share with your friends, and be sure to subscribe.